A millionaire businesswoman storms into a courtroom, dripping in designer labels and disdain. Within minutes, she's insulting the judge, refusing to pay her fine, and attempting to walk out mid-hearing. But what happens next will leave you speechless. This is the story of Patricia Whitmore, a cautionary tale about what happens when wealth meets its match, and arrogance collides with real authority. Providence Municipal Court. Wednesday morning, 10 a.m. sharp. Judge Frank Caprio, a man who's seen it all in his decades on the bench, sits reviewing what appears to be just another routine speeding case. But his bailiff leans in close, voice low and urgent. "Your Honor, this defendant has been difficult with the court staff." The citation tells the story. Patricia Whitmore, 48 years old, caught driving 25 miles per hour over the speed limit. But it's the officer's notes that raise red flags. Defendant, argumentative, claimed she was too important to be stopped, refused to sign citation initially. Then, the courtroom doors swing open. Patricia Whitmore makes her entrance like she's walking into a board meeting she's already planning to leave early. Designer clothes from head to toe. A luxury handbag that costs more than most people's monthly rent. And her eyes, glued to her phone, fingers scrolling, completely oblivious, or, more accurately, completely indifferent, to the fact that she's in a court of law. "Miss Whitmore," Judge Caprio begins, his voice professional, measured. "You're here regarding a speeding citation. Please approach." Patricia moves forward with deliberate slowness, still staring at her screen. The judge's patience is already being tested. "Miss Whitmore, I need your full attention. Please, put your phone away." She looks up, and the annoyance on her face could cut glass. "I'm handling important business matters," Patricia says, each word dripping with condescension. "Can we make this quick? I have actual important things to do today." The courtroom goes silent. You could hear a pin drop. Every person in that gallery knows they've just witnessed something brazen, openly disrespecting a sitting judge in his own courtroom. Judge Caprio's expression doesn't change, but his voice takes on an edge. "Miss Whitmore, this court is important, and you'll give it your full attention. Now, you were cited for driving 55 in a 30-mile-per-hour zone. How do you plead?" Patricia waves her hand dismissively, as if swatting away an annoying fly. "This whole thing is ridiculous. That speed limit is absurd for that road. I drive it every day and I've never had a problem." "That's not what I asked," the judge responds, his patience wearing visibly thin. "How do you plead to the charge?" "Fine, whatever. I was speeding. Can I just pay this and leave? I don't have time for this." But Judge Caprio isn't having it. He reviews the citation details, and what he sees troubles him deeply. "Ms. Whitmore, 25 miles over the speed limit in a residential area is serious. There are children, families." Patricia cuts him off, mid-sentence. "I know that neighborhood. Those people should teach their kids not to play near the street. I shouldn't have to drive 30 miles an hour because parents can't supervise their children properly." The courtroom erupts, gasps, murmurs of disbelief. Did she really just blame children for her reckless driving? "Miss Whitmore," the judge says, standing now, his calm facade cracking. "The speed limit exists to protect everyone in that community, not just children. Your attitude toward this citation concerns me." And here's where Patricia makes her fatal mistake. "My attitude?" Her voice rises, echoing through the courtroom. "My attitude is that I'm a successful businesswoman being lectured by a small-town judge about driving on a road I use daily. This is a waste of my time and taxpayer money." Judge Caprio stands fully now, and when he speaks, his voice fills every corner of that courtroom. "Miss Whitmore, I'm going to remind you that you're in a courtroom. You will show respect for this process." "Respect for what?" Patricia fires back. For you rubber stamping tickets to generate revenue. I know how this works. I'll pay your fine and be done with it. The judge delivers the verdict on her speeding violation. $350 plus court costs. Patricia actually laughs. Out loud. In a courtroom. That's it? I spend more than that on lunch. Just add it to my credit card and I'll be on my way. This isn't a restaurant, Miss Whitmore. Judge Caprio's voice drops dangerously low. This is a court of law, and you're treating it like an inconvenience rather than a serious matter. Then Judge Caprio drops a bombshell. I'm looking at your driving record. You have 3 prior speeding tickets in the last 2 years. Patricia shrugs. So what? I paid them all. That's how this works, right? You give tickets, I pay them. Everyone's happy. No, Miss Whitmore. That's not how this works. Each violation represents dangerous driving that could harm others. She rolls her eyes. Visibly, deliberately, disrespectfully. Oh, please. I'm an excellent driver. I've been driving for 30 years without an accident. And then Patricia plays her trump card, the one she thinks will end the charade once and for all. Look, Judge, she says his title like it's an insult. I'm a busy person. I run 3 companies. I employ over 200 people, and I contribute more to this city's tax base than most people in this courtroom will earn in their lifetimes. The courtroom collectively gasps. The sheer arrogance, the blatant disrespect, the assumption that money equals immunity. Miss Whitmore, Judge Caprio says, his voice now steel. Your financial status is irrelevant to your obligation to follow traffic laws. Really? Patricia shoots back. Because from where I'm standing, it seems like this whole system exists to shake down people like me who actually contribute to society. Miss Whitmore, I'm going to ask you one more time to show respect for this court. And if I don't, she takes a step closer, her voice challenging. What are you going to do, Judge? Find me more money that I don't care about? You can't intimidate me. I'm not some scared kid or poor person who has to bow and scrape before you. Complete, utter silence. Every person in that courtroom is frozen, unable to believe what they're witnessing. A millionaire openly defying judicial authority, convinced her wealth makes her untouchable. Patricia picks up her phone again. Are we done here? Because I actually have important meetings today. Put that phone down, Miss Whitmore. We are not done. Actually, Patricia turns toward the door. I think we are. Send me the bill. I'll have my assistant pay it. She takes a step, then another. Miss Whitmore, if you take one more step toward that door without my permission, you will be held in contempt of court. Patricia stops, turns, a smirk playing on her lips. Contempt for what? For not being impressed by your little kingdom here? Judge Caprio's voice becomes thunder. For showing repeated disrespect to this court, for attempting to leave in the middle of a hearing, and for demonstrating the exact attitude that makes you a danger on our roads. A danger? I'm a danger because I don't grovel before a judge in a tiny municipal court. You're a danger because you believe rules don't apply to you. You're a danger because you think your wealth exempts you from common courtesy and legal obligations. And you're a danger because you have no regard for the safety of others. This is ridiculous. I'm leaving. Patricia takes another step toward the door, and that's when everything changes. Bailiff, please ensure Ms. Whitmore remains in this courtroom. The bailiff steps forward, positioning himself between Patricia and the exit. For the first time, the very first time, Patricia's confidence wavers. Her eyes widen slightly. Her posture shifts. You can't keep me here. Miss Whitmore, I absolutely can. You're in my courtroom, and you'll stay until this hearing is concluded. Now sit down. Patricia remains standing, her arrogance fighting a losing battle against the sudden, crushing realization that she might not have as much control as she thought. Miss Whitmore, sit down now, or I'll add a contempt charge to your speeding violation. Slowly, so slowly, Patricia returns to her position. The phone stays in her pocket this time. Now, Judge Caprio begins, his voice calm but absolutely unshakable. Let's discuss your situation clearly. You were cited for excessive speeding in a residential area. This is your fourth speeding ticket in 2 years. You've shown no remorse, no understanding of why this matters, and you've repeatedly disrespected this court. I don't have to stand here and be lectured by— Yes, Miss Whitmore, you do. That's exactly what's happening right now. The courtroom watches, transfixed, as Judge Caprio systematically dismantles Patricia's entitlement, piece by piece by piece. Your original fine was $350. However, given your behavior in this courtroom, I'm increasing it to the maximum, $500 plus court costs. Patricia's face shows genuine surprise for the first time. You can't do that. I can, and I am. Additionally, I'm requiring you to attend a driver safety course within 30 days. A driver safety course? I've been driving for decades. Clearly unsuccessfully, given your 4 speeding tickets, you will complete the course and provide proof to this court. Patricia's voice rises in desperation. This is outrageous. I'll appeal this. You have that right, Miss Whitmore. I encourage you to explain to an appellate judge how you treated this courtroom and see if they're sympathetic. Patricia's arrogance begins to crack, visibly, unmistakably, as the reality of real consequences sets in. Furthermore, I'm adding a contempt of court charge for your behavior today. That's an additional $200 fine. For what? For not kissing your ring? For repeatedly disrespecting this court, for attempting to leave during a hearing, and for showing complete disregard for legal proceedings. So your total is now $700, plus court costs, which brings it to $850, plus mandatory traffic school. Patricia's face goes red, then pale. The math is hitting her now. Her attitude just cost her significantly more than if she'd simply been respectful from the start. You're punishing me for being successful, she says weakly. I'm holding you accountable for breaking the law and for showing contempt for the judicial system. Your wealth is irrelevant to your obligations as a citizen. I want to speak to your supervisor. I don't have a supervisor, Miss Whitmore. I'm the chief judge of this municipal court. But again, you're welcome to appeal. Patricia stands silently. Perhaps for the first time in years, she's realizing that her money and status mean absolutely nothing in this place. Judge Caprio leans forward, and when he speaks, every word lands with precision. Miss Whitmore, I want you to understand something. This court sees people from every background. Some can barely afford their fines. Others, like you, consider them pocket change. But the law applies equally to everyone. Patricia remains silent, her earlier arrogance completely, utterly deflated. When you speed through residential neighborhoods, you're not just breaking a rule. You're risking lives. Children live there. Elderly people walk there. Families exist there. Your convenience is not more important than their safety. He pauses, letting the words sink in. Your attitude today showed me exactly why you keep getting tickets. You don't think rules apply to you. You think your business success exempts you from basic courtesy and legal obligations. For the first time, Patricia looks genuinely uncomfortable rather than dismissive. I'm going to tell you what I tell everyone who appears before me. This court cares about your character more than your bank account. Today, you showed very poor character. Patricia finally speaks, her voice small. Can I just pay the fine and leave? Yes, but first you'll apologize to this court for your disrespectful behavior. What? You heard me. You will apologize for your disrespect, or I'll add another contempt charge. Patricia stands silently, pride warring with pragmatism. The entire courtroom holds its breath. Miss Whitmore, I'm waiting. I... I apologize for my behavior in court today. Miss Whitmore, say it like you mean it. Patricia takes a breath. A real breath. Perhaps the first genuine moment she's had in this courtroom. Your Honor, I apologize for being disrespectful to you and to this court. My behavior was inappropriate. Judge Caprio nods. Apology accepted. Now, let me be clear about what happens next. You will pay $850 in fines and costs. You will complete traffic school within 30 days. You will provide proof of completion to this court. And if you receive one more speeding ticket in the next year, I will personally review your case and consider license suspension. Patricia nods, finally, understanding the gravity of her situation. And Miss Whitmore, one more thing. The judge's voice softens slightly, but loses none of its authority. The next time you're driving through that neighborhood at 55 miles an hour, I want you to remember this moment. Remember that your time is not more valuable than other people's lives. Yes, Your Honor. You're dismissed. The clerk will process your payment. As Patricia Whitmore walks toward the clerk's office, she moves differently. The arrogance is gone. The swagger has vanished. In its place is something that looks almost like humility. Perhaps, just perhaps. She's beginning to understand that respect isn't given based on wealth, but earned through character and behavior. This is Patricia Whitmore's story. A story that reminds us that entitlement and arrogance will always meet their match in a fair courtroom. That money doesn't buy respect. That accountability applies to everyone, regardless of how successful they think they are. Judge Frank Caprio proved once again that real authority doesn't need to be loud or aggressive. It simply needs to be firm, fair, and unwavering in the face of disrespect. Here's the question for all of us. When we achieve success, do we use it to demand special treatment? Or do we remember that wealth and status don't exempt us from basic decency and legal obligations? Patricia learned the hard way that courtrooms are the great equalizer, where character matters infinitely more than bank balances, and where judges like Frank Caprio ensure that justice truly is blind to financial status. Because in the end, we're all equal under the law, and no amount of money can change that.